Yo, what's good? What's good? Good morning, everybody. Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you're at. Uh, what's happening? What's up, Josh? What's up, Ralph? Shout out to everyone that's here. Please hit the thumbs up. Please smash the like button. We are live later on this evening, too. I just wanted to do a quick live. Um, and we had some time. I didn't have any plans for today before the fight. So, I was gonna just chill and wait until the card later on, the pay-per-view, the PPC pay-per-view later on. And excuse me. I decided I was like, you know what, I might as well jump on live. There's a bunch of topics that we can discuss. And if you guys want to join up, you are welcome to join up. Uh and yeah, I want to talk a little bit about final thoughts on the card tonight. Talk a little bit about Crawford in the WBC situation. Talk a little bit about Jai Opatai. Probably going to start off with him. Um, Getting another knockout earlier, but I didn't watch the full fight yet. I kind of woke up on the, Australia. Like I keep forgetting that their times of their fights is usually like 4 or 5 in the morning. So I kind of woke up, turned my phone on, and saw the knockout as soon as I jumped on social media. All right. So we'll talk a little bit about that briefly, and we'll talk on Fulton in this uh, weight situation with the fight tomorrow. If you didn't know, he missed weight. But I'm kind of think it was intentional at this point. I thought it was intentional. Um, I thought it was intentional as a strategic thing, but now I realize that there's a good chance he might have known that the WBC interim title at 135 at lightweight, not at super featherweight, where he's moved up to, but at lightweight is now on the line. Okay. That means that Shakur Stevenson, at some point, whether he beats Teofimo or not, he's going to have to defend that title at 135 or just vacate it and stay up at 140. We'll talk all about that. All right. In this video, I got a lot to say about that. I got a lot to say about Crawford and this whole WBC thing. Um, right before I'll bring it up later. I'll bring it up later. But if you guys follow me on Instagram, uh you guys will see what I posted. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you saw what I just posted with Oscar, right? Yeah, I saw that circulating around. I did watch most of the interview, but not through the whole interview. I saw just the clips of that Club's Shay Shay is interview with Oscar De La Hoya, and I forgot he totally says that. But but the thing with the WBC, right? I find it funny how certain people are coming to their defense on this situation. Because it's like, how can you defend those guys? That was the logic I brought in my video. Like, how do you defend them? We do wrong all year, and then we finally say, "Hey, yeah, but Bud was out of line. That's the rules. You knew the belt was this, that, and it." Yeah. When I made my video on Crawford, you guys know, like, I think one or two people left comments. I don't think they knew I made my video before Crawford even responded. My video was just based on the WBC and the stripping itself, not the response from Crawford or anything like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. What's up, Andrew? I don't want to say that the card is not worth it. I think the card is still good, right? The problem I have with the card is the fact that it's a pay-per-view. All right. That's the biggest problem. The second problem I have is all the drama behind it. It's a lot of drama behind it. You got one guy that popped, and that's Janovic. And then you have another guy in Fulton who missed weight disrespectfully. It just looks like he didn't even attempt to really make that weight. So we'll talk about that later on. But the card is still good. It's just, if you're paying a pay-per-view, I think it's a little ridiculous. But the card is good. I mean, Cruz and Roach is a great fight, and it's gonna be a great fight, right? That's a great fight. Fulton and Foster is still a good fight. You know what I mean? Mostly in Ramos is a good fight, you know. And Lara is fighting this guy Johan Gonzalez. I forgot I seen this guy fight before, right? I seen this guy beat Jared Hurd in his last fight. I watched that fight. Totally forgot about that fight, right? Jared Hurd is pretty much retired now officially. Like I think he retired before, came back, and then he just has no success. He don't got his punch resistance has been gone since the Lara fight. And so it's still a good fight. And you know what? Yo, on a low, I like the Frank Martin Barthélemy fight. They both look good at the weigh-in. I like that fight. So, um, yeah, El Chivo, we'll talk about that, bro. We'll talk about all that. I got a lot to say, and I know I'm gonna repeat some of these things when I go on live tonight. But I wanted to get up because I had nothing to do, bro. I was sitting here like I watched the F1 qualifications, the last race is tomorrow morning. And then I watched that ended early, and I'm like laying in bed, like, yo, what am I gonna do today? There's no early fights, there's nothing. Jai Opatai already got his knockout. I'm like, yo, let me just go on and see what you guys are talking about. What's up, Geos? What's up, Solid? What's up, Andrew? What's up? Everybody's in the chat, please. Alan was good. Everybody in the chat, please hit the thumbs up if you can. What's up, Ralph? So I woke up to the Jai Opatai knockout. Now, I did not watch the whole fight, but people are saying that it was a bad performance from Jai. I did see a clip where Jai got caught with a good shot early on and almost got knocked down. He almost went down. Okay. He got caught with a good shot. It is what it is. I mean, he did fight a guy, and this guy is named Hussein Chinkara, right? Hussein Chinkara. This guy's from Germany. He's 40 years old, 23 wins with 19 KOs, and was undefeated, no draws. Now, I don't know who he fought. I mean, I looked at his resume. I mean, ain't much there. But he's been active, even though he's an older guy. He's been very, very active. He's only been boxing since 2016 as a pro. I don't know anything about his amateur. I don't know nothing, right? All I know is that he is kind of highly ranked, and that he's a German fighter with a lot of KOs, right? And Jai at this point is just fighting whoever he can. To me, I don't like the fact that I don't like the fight like everybody else. We all want the Zerto fight, right? We all wanted the Zerto fight only because like at this point it's someone else. There's no one really else. I mean, you got Badu Jack fight coming up. All right, he's gonna rematch Noel McKellian, but let's be real, nobody cares about that. No one cares. Like no one's like, like and I like Badu Jack, and I think that fight is next weekend, and I think next weekend is kind of slow. I think from now between today until Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua, there's really not much happening. But I think Badu Jack got a fight coming up with Noel McKellian, the rematch, and no one really cares about that fight. You know what I mean? Like, but I might, if I ain't doing nothing, I might jump on and cover it. Just to chop it up with you guys. But there's not much happening until Jake Paul Anthony Joshua fight. All right. But yeah, I woke up, I watched the race this morning. And I was just like, yo, let me jump on. Yes, I do watch the NBA. Yeah, I do. What is my take on the NBA? I mean, I still think OKC has the highest chances of winning it all again. But I'm not completely sure. I like how the Lakers look. I like how the Lakers look, and as far as the East, I like, believe it or not, I like how the Pistons. I mean, outside of the Knicks, but I'm a biased Knicks fan. I like Detroit. I like Detroit. I think Detroit have something going. You know, I think the teams like from last year and the previous years, like Cleveland, Boston, Indiana. I think those teams are not it. I think it's between New York, Philly, um, and probably Orlando's decent, but I think it's New York, Philly, and Detroit. All right. That's my take on that. But yeah, I watch, I watch like a few nights a week. I watch a game or two. I'll throw my little parlays and stuff. Mayowa, what's up, brother? What's good? Um, so let's talk boxing, man. Let's talk a little bit about Jai. Let's start with Jai. This is my stance. You guys heard my stance before, and I'm gonna stand on my stance. No matter how many people Jai knock out, right? No matter how many people Jai knock out, all right? He got the stoppage in the 8th round. First of all, the stoppage was crazy. If you haven't seen it, checked it out. I actually think again, this is another top 10 KO of the year, simply because it was a catch and shoot. It was a clean catch and shoot. He caught this guy's punch right hand. He caught his guy's right hand with his left, and with that same left, came around and threw a big left hand behind it and knocked this guy out cold with one punch. I didn't watch the entire fight. They say Jai looked bad. I know in a post-fight interview, he said he looked bad. He wasn't himself. Um, but at the end of the day, that knockout was some high-level shit. And we talk about his athleticism a lot. We talk about his power. We talk about all that a lot. But we gotta like punches, like shots like that shows me that he has like this little parts of him that's great. Um, but my stance on Jai is he's gonna be forced to go to the heavyweight division. If David Benavidez, I think the only scenario, right, where he fights like a real unification, like I think he should try to get the Badu Jack McKellian winner. But I think in a real scenario, like a real situation, right? I think that the only way he gets a fight with Zerto or a Benavidez is if Benavidez wins the fight, right? If he beats Zerto, I think there's more of a chance. I'm not saying he will. I think there's more of a chance that he fights Jai than Zerto Ramirez. Zerto, the way he moves, the way he's acting in the interview, like I don't even know who that is. When he said that, that's when I was like, bro, this is a clear duck. And being that he's with Oscar De La Hoya, Oscar will have his fighters duck fighters for the longest. He has a reputation of that as a promoter, not as a fighter. As a fighter, he was a great fighter. Uh, I don't know if you guys know, but Oscar is like one of my favorite fighters as a fighter. Uh, I don't think he's in my top 10, but he's definitely in my top 20 all time. All right. Um, there's a few people I put in front of him, but as a kid watching him, I mean, he was one of my favorites. Like I even have him above like Tito Trinidad. Like he's one of my dudes. But as a promoter, nah, he's super super cautious, like as with his fighters. But we'll be talking about Oscar a little bit more in a bit. But I hope Benavidez wins. And I hope that if he does wins, he fights Jai. I'm not even gonna just entertain the idea of Benavidez coming back down to 175. I don't even want to entertain it. I just don't. I just don't think it's realistic. I think Benavidez is a big dude, and I think once he feels that freedom of being able to fight within the 200-pound limit, he's gonna love how he feels, and I think he's gonna want to stay. That's just me personally. I don't think he's gonna come back down. All right, but going back to Jai, my stance, and I keep starting to say it, but I never get to it. The point is, I don't think Jai is a guy that goes to heavyweight and does well. I don't view him as Usyk. You know what I mean? He's gonna be smaller, but I don't think his skill set is so far above the heavyweight point where he could do what Usyk did. Usyk being smaller, but being more athletic, have a great cardio, the skill set, I don't see Jai doing as well as a heavyweight. I think once you go up there, I don't know if his power is gonna be as effective as it is. I was just watching a video where Jai was, in the dressing room getting prepared for his fight, and Joseph Parker was in there, and just looking at the two of them, like standing next to each other, and I said, like, there's a huge sized gap between these two. you know, and I know Jai is going to be a little bit heavier, but he's smaller. He's just smaller than these guys. And I don't think he can just win based off skills alone. I just don't think that. This is my opinion. My opinion. As good as he is, these are KO artists. Bridgerweight doesn't even, in fact, I was thinking about the Bridgerweight thing, but I'm like, come on, like, I forgot. We all forget that division it's not a real thing. It's just one of them. It's another WBC scam. You know what I mean? Like, are we being real about Bridgerweight? Like, what's up with that? No other sanctioning body did it. It's a WBC scam. It's another one. Like, just like, you know, what's it called? What's the franchise thing, right? It was a scam. The whole thing was a joke, right? Grant, thank you. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Thank you for supporting. And please, everybody, hit that thumbs up for me. The WBC is a PBC. WBC, a PBC. WBC is a scam, and they got a bunch of them. And Bridgerweight is one of the scams. You know, let's make another division within the in between the cruiserweight and the heavyweight division, and get more belts and make more money. They're being exposed right now, but I'm gonna get to that like a little bit later in the video. But yeah, Jai, that's just my views. I'm not saying he won't be successful as a heavyweight, but I think that Oscar, I'm gonna put this on Oscar. I know Zerto is the fighter. I believe that Oscar is freezing him out as long as those guys over there freezing him out as long as they can. Right? They know who he is. They know people consider him to be the best cruiserweight. And Zerto is going to go around and fight every other opponent. So if they are forced to make that fight, they can come and say, listen, we have more belts. We have more bigger fights. We have a bigger name. We want, if they make a fight with them, they're going to be like, we want 80% of the purse, 90% of the purse, you know? And that's the way it's going to go. You know, once I heard Zerto say, I don't even know who he is, you know, like I just found out who he is. That's what made me know, like, okay, now these guys are really not planning on fighting, you know, like, because Zerto is not no household name. Let's be real. He's no big name. He's no big name. You know what I mean? He don't have a name like David Benavidez, you know, and these guys, I've been watching them both fight for roughly around the same amount of time. Zerto is not like as nearly, you know, Benavidez is, his name is connected with way bigger fights. Back when Zerto was at 168, you know, his biggest name was against the what's his name, a Philly fighter that he fought twice. What's his name from Philly? What's the Philly fighter he beat twice? Black dude that lost to Joe Smith Jr. after talking all the trash. Jesse Hart. You know, and then he didn't have any success at 175 like that. You know, he picked up a few good wins. Yeah, fought Bivol, mentally broke down after losing. All right, came in like 8 pounds or something overweight to fight Gabe Rosado. Like, Gabe has been, I shout out to Gabe. I love Gabe. He's like my favorite journeyman, probably ever. But at the time he fought Gabe, you know, you can't even make weight for Gabe. You shouldn't have even been fighting Gabe. Guy's a joke. Yeah. Yeah, no, Jesse Hart. Yeah. Um, yeah, so the guy can't even pull the whole name thing. Like, you're not really that popular here in America. I think Jai is probably way more popular in Australia than you are here in America. Just saying, you know. Um, I bet you Jai can probably fill up an arena in Australia more than you can fill up an arena in the US. You know, if you're fighting the same opponent. Just my opinion. But as far as Jai, that's how I feel. I feel like they want him to move up out of frustration, and there'll just be no other threats because cruiserweight is weak right now. Cruiserweight fell off heavy, right? Cruiserweight fell off heavy since the World Boxing Super Series, you know, or World Series of Boxing, you know, it fell off crazy, you know. It fell off a little bit after the first one, but it was still strong because Usyk went up, but you still had all the other guys there. Mary's Breedis and all these other guys were still around. But some of those guys moved up. You had Dortico still. You have some of the guys, but it's not well. Noel McKellian, he's been around. He's been around. He's been around. That's who Badu Jack is fighting. I like Badu Jack though. He's cool. Bottle Jack, I met him before, but he's cool. I like him. I didn't want to say, I wouldn't make it seem like nobody cares about his fight, but at the end of the day, it's a weaker division, and Bottle's up there in age, and it's just not a really excited division. But I do like Bottle Jack. I am a big fan of his, so I like him. He seems like one of the most solid guys in the sport. But as far as relevancy in the sport, um, yeah. Ralph, yeah, Noel is good. Noel is pretty good. In fact, I think uh his fight with Badu Jack could have gone. I don't know. I don't even know if Badu really beat him, you know, um in that first fight. That first fight was earlier this year. Um, I think it could have been a draw at the most, but I don't think Badu Jack like really, really won that fight. All right. Um, yeah, I don't think Breedis beat Noel McKellian, but apparently, I remember I did content on that fight years ago, and Mary's Breedis apparently had an injury in that fight. That's what they said. But from what I saw, Noel McKellian beat Mary's Breedis, and Breedis at this point, this is back in 2018. All right, this is some years ago. Um, Breedis did not win that fight. They gave it to him, but that was a gift win to me. So Noel is pretty good. Um, but I don't think Bado. I think it was either a draw or a edge to McKellian. So Noel McKellian, in my opinion, now that I'm looking at his resume, there's two fights here. I can't remember the Chris Glowacki's fight. He lost a split decision then. So he lost a split decision. No, it's not Christoph Glowacki. It's some other Christoph guy. I don't know. All right. Um, I didn't watch that fight. And if I did, I don't remember it. But I saw the Breeders fight, which is a loss, and I think he won that fight. And I saw the Badu Jack fight, and I think Noel might have edged it, or it's a draw. Badu didn't do enough to win. Let me just say that. All right, so that's my opinion on that. All right, so let's move on, man. Let's talk about a few things, man. I'm trying to think. Should we talk about Crawford first? Should we talk about Crawford first, or should we talk about the WBC and the Fulton situation? What are topics I have here? Let's talk about the Crawford situation. I kind of want to get that out of the way, right? I made a video the other day, and I was like reacting off of the WBC stripping Bud Crawford and Mauricio Solomon doing an interview where he just basically said Crawford, didn't reach out, and it's always two sides of the story. This is why sometimes it's good to wait. But my video was based on what we knew at the time. All right. And I always leave room in my videos for other outcomes. We don't know what Crawford's side of the story was, but of course, according to Mauricio Solomon, he's saying that Crawford never paying the sanctioner fees and that they lowered the sanctioner fees. Like the real rate is 3% of your purse, right? So if Crawford made 50 million, which is what we've heard he made, right? Some people say it was less than that. We don't know the exact amount, but we know a lot of that 50 million, according to Mauricio Solomon, is 3%, which we knew already, but they lowered it to 0.6 because they didn't want to take 1.5 million from the guy to get a belt. So they lowered it to 300K to get a belt, which is still overpriced. Now, they said the Ring Magazine special belt that they had for that fight was worth $180,000. And we know that belt is worth way more than whatever that WBC belt is. But that was for free, right? But the WBC belt, the Ring Magazine belt, as valuable as it is, it's not a belt that you can win and it can make you uh I think it's more valuable than what it should be, but you can't become an undisputed champion. You can't become a unified champion. You're not uh it's not a major title. It is a major title, but it's not one that can make you undisputed. Like you can be undisputed and not hold the ring title. You know what I mean? So 300K for a belt is ridiculous. Now, being that we got to understand this, Crawford responds, right? Let's talk about Crawford's response. Crawford responded as soon as he started the video and he had the do-rag on. I knew what this interview was going, how it's going to play out. Crawford didn't even sit down with nobody. He was in his car. He had do-rag on. Yeah, he's not clean shaved, none of that. All right. His beard looking like Derek Chisora's beard. His beard is looking crazy. I knew right there at that moment, I was like, oh, this ain't gonna go well for Mauricio. And it didn't. And Crawford said, like, yo, what makes your belt different from the other sanctioning body who behind the scene, I guess he came with an agreement with them to pay the purses or pay the percentages or whatever. He paid those 3 additional back because he has the other belts. Right? There's another video where he's in his house and he's showing his IBF, his WBO, his WBA titles that say undisputed with Canelo on the belt and all that. So the WBC belts are not there. So Crawford is saying, what makes your sanctioning body different from the others? You wanted more money. And this is what I was saying about, like, sometimes we got to slow down and wait for the full story from both sides, because according to Mauricio Solomon, this is all about, like, they made it look like they were doing Crawford a favor by lowering it to 0.6% from 3%, right? But at the end of the day, we all can agree that 300,000 for one belt is crazy. We are not in the times of back in the day where 3% is this is a $50 million person. Yeah, maybe Canelo would have paid it. You know, maybe other fighters would have paid it for the guys that's making 50+ million for a fight. Maybe Anthony Joshua, you know, I don't know what he was paying. I don't know, you know, but all I know is that Crawford, according to Crawford, he worked out deals as far as the cost of these belts between the other sanctioning bodies. But for whatever reason, that didn't work for the WBC. So what I'm assuming is Crawford said, look, this is the amount I'm paying for each belt. Are you in or you're not? And I guess the WBC didn't come to terms with Crawford. There was probably some negotiation behind the scenes where they just didn't work out. So when Mauricio Solomon says we wanted the 6%, Crawford probably looked at that like, that's too much. And that didn't work out. But Crawford goes into a lot of other things. He talks about all the things that we talk about on a daily basis about the WBC. He brings up the Benavidez situation, about him being interim champ and not being mandated, or Crawford Canelo not being mandated to fight Benavidez or defend his title against Benavidez. You know, he talks about a lot of things that's wrong with the WBC, right? I can't remember all of them on top of the head, but my stance on this is it's pretty simple, you know. When it comes to the WBC, I can't really defend anything that they're doing. You know, when they bring up this is going towards the fighters, you know, and we're getting kids off the streets and stuff like that. Okay, yeah, but that's not Crawford's responsibility. What you guys do with the money, the WBC, that's not Crawford. Crawford could have his own. He can. I don't know what he does with the kids in his neighborhood, or I don't know what he does with his money. I don't know what kind of donations. I don't know in what ways Crawford gets back, but I'm assuming he does. Right? You can't tell the man to pay money to you so you can make your own donations towards boxers or kids or shit. That's not what it's about. At the end of the day, you are getting paid to do what you want. And Crawford brings up the luxury lifestyle that you're living off the backs of fighters. And we've been saying this for a long time. You know what I mean? We have been saying this for a long time. Now, if you have heard or if you haven't seen it, Oscar De La Hoya comes out and basically calls out Crawford. He's like, this is going to the fighters, this is going to the kids, you know, this is about history. He calls out Crawford, you know. But if you guys didn't hear the Club Shay Shay interview with Oscar that was recent, which I'm going to play for you right now, he basically says what Crawford said, exactly what Crawford said.
To be a part of. Like, you literally have to pay their hard-earned money to be a part of. Like, you literally have to pay a percentage or a big chunk of your purse to the sanctioning, because for a belt, I would rather just buy the belt at the flea market, and, you know, for a couple $100. Right. But the ring belt is free. The ring belt, you have to be a legend. You have to be number one fighting against number two. That's the only way you fight for it. What? Their hard-earned money to.
Yeah, let me repeat that. Let's run that back.
You literally have to pay a percentage or a big chunk of your purse to the sanctioning, because for a belt, I would rather just buy the belt at the flea market, and, you know, for a couple $100. Right. But the ring belt is free. The ring belt, you have to be a legend. You have to be number one fighting against number two. That's the only way you fight for it.
Crawford said the exact same thing in his car. It's on my Instagram. I posted it maybe a half hour before I came live. If you watch that interview with Club Shay Shay, that clip, and you watch what Bud said in his car, Bud said, this belt is valued, this Ring Magazine belt is valued at way more than your WBC belt. And it was free. Oscar just said the same thing. Yet, yesterday, he's defending the WBC. Come on, man. Come on, man. Mauricio, what are we doing, bro? What are we doing? Like, first of all, what is Oscar doing? I mean, that is probably the best contradiction I've ever heard. You literally repeated, no, Bud, because Bud said this after you. Bud literally repeated what you said. All Bud said in his video was what Oscar just said in the Club Shay Shay interview. I remember, I seen it. The Club Shay Shay interview is recent. I mean, Oscar was probably like 3 or 4, because I watched the show. Oscar was probably like 3 or 4 interviews ago. You know what I'm saying? So what are we doing? Yo, Lennox said Oscar is staying on code. How do you stay on code, though? Because you was just off code. You on Club Shay Shay's platform, telling him and explaining to him how the sanctioning body is just, you got to pay all of this. The ring is free. The ring is the real title, because you have to fight the best to get that one. So, and it's sad. It's sad because, like, I feel bad for these fighters that's trying to chase legacy. You know what I mean? You're trying to chase legacy, but you got to pay. It comes at a cost. And this is what, no, Campish. No, this is a recent interview. The Oscar interview, I guarantee you, the Oscar De La Hoya interview on Club Shay Shay has to be within 2 months old. I'm going to look it up right now. Hold on. Shout out to... Oh, I'm sorry. No, it's not that recent. Okay, it's 1 year old. It's 1 year old. Damn, I felt like I was just watching that. Still, it's a recent interview. It's not when Oscar was involved with the the Ring Magazine, when he owned it. It's far later than that. All right. So the interview is 1 year old.
only.
So my bad. But it's still recent. It was just last year. You know what I mean? It was in 2024. So at the end of the day, damn, why I said 2 months ago? I'm bugging. Yo, it's time. It's really, really time. Like, it just goes like this. Yeah, so AO says, imagine if all sports charge athletes or teams from winning gold medals, trophies, or belts. It's pure wasism, and forgive my French, but F the WBC. Yeah, I can't ever defend the WBC in any capacity. I can't. I just can't. You know, I'm sorry, but you created, I will never get over the franchise title situation, because I remember you guys were here. I think it was 2020. Right. I think when everything was shut down or around that time, I still have my place in Harlem. I remember doing content. I remember talking about Lomachenko and Devin Haney. And I remember there was an interview, or there was a meeting with Mauricio Solomon, and he was telling us how the franchise champion, it's a non-transferable title. So if you lose, you still hold it. You're a franchise. You're so legendary that the belt is non-transferable. They had one for Loma, they had one for Canelo, and they were talking about getting one to Deontay Wilder because he was still champion. Lomachenko eventually loses to Teofimo Lopez. And Teofimo Lopez became champion, even though it was non-transferable. You know, and it's not even a thing that exists anymore. It's just a thing that existed at the time to make things more comfortable for specific fighters. All right. But forget all that. Let's talk about the more recent stuff. Let's talk about Ryan Garcia and Mario Barrios. All right. Which I already brought up, but Ryan Garcia is going to be fighting Mario Barrios for the 147 WBC title after coming off of a loss to Rolly Romero. And then after having a no contest for popping dirty on a test against Devin Haney. But you can get rewarded for a title shot. So you want to sanction that fight. You want to sanction, or you want to make Conor Ben the Mando at 147 when the guy hasn't fought at the division 4 years. Let's talk about Conor Ben, recent history. Fails a drug test, goes to 54, 2 wins at 54 against no one relevant at 54. Goes up to 160, loses to Chris Eubank, but wins the rematch, and then gets elevated to number 1 at 147 4 years later. What are we doing? Yes, both drug cheats. Yes. And I like Conor Ben, and I'm my stance on drug cheats or people that pop is 2 years. It should be 2 years. But I still like them. I still like guys that failed drug tests in the past. Something that happens, and yeah, you're gonna lose some credibility in my book, but as a fighter, I could still like you. Like he's a good fighter. His fights are entertaining to watch. But at the end of the day, he popped. Ryan popped. Why are they getting rewarded? Especially when one doesn't fight at the division and the other just got to the division, and he's lost his one fight at the division against Rolly Romero. Rolly and Mario Barrios should be fighting, yes, as a unification. Yes, they should be. And that goes to Pacquiao too. We know Pacquiao is a legend, but he shouldn't just be having options to fight for the WBC and possibly the WBA next with Rolly. But it is what it is. All right. So yeah, I just wanted to bring that up with Crawford. It's clear cut, man. But let's drag this since we talking about the WBC. Let's talk about the new bullshit that's going on. All right. And there, yeah, if you guys, want to join up, you can. I'll put the link. I pinned the link. I'll repost it. If you guys want to join up and give your thoughts, you could bring up any other topics that we talked about today. Jail, Batai, the Crawford, Mercy. If you guys got, want to speak your piece for a few minutes, let me know. Join up. But yeah, the WBC. Oh, so Stephen Fulton misses weight by 2 pounds. Now, we had heard that earlier in the day. All right. What's up, John?
What's good, man?
How you doing?
Man, I wanted to first come on in. I've been a long time follower of your channel. Like
Appreciate it.
I'm talking about years ago. But I never really before I get to the boxing thing, I never really hear your name in the middle of boxing drama with other YouTube pages.
Nah,
And I just wanted to salute you on that, man. Before I got started.
I appreciate that. There have been channels that's dissed me before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's been a couple. Just a couple. Just don't respond to them, and they just go
Yeah.
away.
Just keep it moving.
They
Yeah,
just go
yeah,
away, bro. Like, I didn't create my YouTube. I have interacted and become friends with other channels, but I didn't create my YouTube channel to talk about other YouTube channels.
right.
Unless I'm showing them love, or
Yeah,
if they're the source of my content based off the interview they did, then yeah, then I'll bring them up. But if I'm not showing them love and I don't like them, I'm just not gonna talk about. I'm not
yeah.
getting caught up in these guys are not fighters. Well, I need to get caught up in
Right.
I don't care.
That and the opinion, because sometimes when you go to other channels and it gets draining for me because you go to these channels and they just hardcore. They turn into like almost like opinion.
Bias.
What I'm trying. Yeah, just very biased with the. You know what I mean. So it's like
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I said this in a video recently where a lot of I said it's on a live and I ended it. I was basically a lot of these guys create alliances
Yeah, like
with
propaganda
fighters.
pieces. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
but you know what? They have to. Unfortunately, a lot of them that are trying to make it, especially in the media space, they have to, because now you hear fighters saying, "Yo, I don't mess with this channel. I don't mess with this channel because they said this or they be talking this," and I'll be like, "Yeah, well, what are we just supposed to just hype you up for everything that you do? Like if you perform poorly in a fight." Me personally, I like to have the freedom to be able to keep it real.
yeah,
I don't want to create alliances with certain fighters because they're going to expect you to defend them on every scenario. But I'm sure we can name a bunch of channels that do it. Most of them do.
right.
We being real. So yeah, I mean, it'll be good for viewership to have a bunch of people come on here and to gas them up and all that. But I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to do
Right.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to give you your props on that. Like I said, I never really see no drama with and then the takes are objective. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
before a fight, I come to your channel to kind of like before I make my pick. You know what I mean? Or not before I make my pick, and then I just kind of see what other people say. But some people, some channels, I don't take their word for it. It's just like you said, propaganda pieces. But
Yeah.
well, I guess what topic you on now? Because I kind of was in and out.
All right. So what I was gonna do is talk a little bit about Fulton. If you didn't know, he missed weight yesterday against he's fighting Foster tonight.
Yeah,
And he missed weight over 2 pounds. But from what I heard before the weigh-in, like not the ceremonial weigh-in. The news was out before the ceremonial weigh-in.
right.
So I heard that on his second attempt, he was at 2 pounds. Like there was an earlier attempt. I don't know how much he actually weighed before that. He might have weighed been maybe more than 2 pounds over. I don't know that. I don't know, but the official weight, the limit was 130. He weighed at 132. So basically, he does not. He's not able to win the title. If he is to win, the title's not on the line for him. It's only on the line for Ashaki Foster, who made weight, who's defending his title. So where we're at now is that comes out, and then at some point after the ceremonial weigh-in, we get news that the WBC, who I'm just talking about, decides to put their lightweight WBC interim title on the line for this fight with Foster. So Foster
at another weight class, right?
At another weight class, the weight class that now Fulton is fighting in. But this was something that was changed after the situation with the weight. This was an adjustment that was made to reward Fulton if he is to win now, because now he misses weight, but now he has an opportunity to fight for another title. Yes, Gio. Yes, this is facts. All right. If you did not hear this, the WBC interim title, all right, that Shakur Stevenson holds a whole title, like the real title, but we know Shakur's fighting Tio in January, right? So that's at 140. That means that if Shakur, let's say Shakur wins the fight and he decides to stay at 140, if Fulton wins this fight against Foster tonight, he will be elevated to full champion at 135, even though he just moved up to 130.
It's almost like there's an analogy for that. Like this is a cardinal sin, by the way, missing weight. First of all, how do you move up in weight?
Everybody says it. Yeah. Alan says that in the comment. How do you move up? And
I mean, look, I get it. Look, if I'm gonna make an excuse for him, right? I would say that, maybe, when you move, like he's trying to move up, he's trying to gain a little bit and at the same time lose. So maybe he miscalculated here or there. So I don't want to just make it seem like he's just unprofessional because maybe he going to a new weight class and maybe you miscalculated somewhere in the past 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. That's the excuse I'm trying to make for him. You know what I mean? But I don't know, when it comes to the WBC, especially after all this news that's coming out now, it's like, man, are y'all hurting for money right now? Like, you know what I mean? Are the books messed up right now?
I don't think they're hurting for money. I think they're just desperate for more. I don't think it's hurting. I think they're just desperate to make more. You know what I mean? Like, if you might be right, but it might be the other way around. It could either
like somebody gonna pay these sanctioning fees.
Somebody's gonna pay these sanctioning fees. And like Crawford says, you guys are making money off the backs of the fighters. You guys don't fight. We don't want to hear what the money is going towards. You know what I mean? We don't want to hear that, because at the end of the day, that doesn't make it right for you to take this money. I don't have to pay this fee when I'm not doing it. I'm doing it for my legacy. You know what I mean? I'm the fighter. You know, the NBA doesn't make you pay for their rings that you win when you win a championship.
That you earned.
Yeah. The legacy is there because you won. You beat the best of the best. And that's what he was saying. He's making a point. The Ring magazine is free. I can't get this Ring magazine. The Ring magazine title is, I can't get this from just beating any random vacant title holder. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I have to beat the best guy or person that's considered to be the best in order to win this title. And I'm not paying a sanctioning fee for it.
Yeah.
So
and outside looking in too, you know what I mean? Like, we don't hear too many stories about, like, if you want to go into what he said the money goes to and all that, we don't hear too many stories about the WBC paid this. We don't hear these stories, so he can keep that.
Know if it's true. We don't know where the money's really going. You know, we don't know. I mean, I'm sure they might donate something here and there, but I mean, I'm basing off the way that they moved and that we see that they move, the backdoor stuff that they do all the time, right? The maneuvering around to benefit certain fighters over others. You know what I mean? Like we see how they move compared to the other sanctioning bodies. I think the WBC and the WBA are pretty bad. You know, I think
Yeah.
most people would agree that those two are the worst. The IBF and the WBO, they be having some situations too, but not on a level of the WBC and the WBA. You know what I mean? Like they are just blatantly out here, like it's like a chessboard. They just like, all right, well, you know what? This guy won, so we're gonna move this over here, and we're
Right.
gonna create a situation for over here. You know, and you know what? You know what's funny? You know what I haven't heard anyone bring up? I haven't heard anyone bring up Mauricio and Solomon's face when Crawford won a decision. Does anybody, do you guys like not remember that moment? The
So
moment,
wait, so I need to see the footage because I don't remember exactly that moment, but I want somebody to go back,
yeah,
make a vid, like, you know what I mean? Like I'm not an
yeah,
editor or whatever, so
yeah,
you
no,
know.
no, no. I remember being on live and I remember covering the fight. And I remember the moment that Crawford heard the decision and Mauricio Solomon's reaction to it.
He had
He did
shit
not
face.
want this man to win. He did not. Because whatever he had going on with Canelo was probably just paying the fees. You know what I mean? You
Yeah,
know, it just, we're talking about money here when it comes to them. You know, it's not about legacy when it comes to them. It's about
yeah.
money at the end of the day. You
You
know?
know what else I heard recently? I just heard from I think Chris Algieri said this. He said that um Oscar De La Hoya, when he was winning those championships, he said that they had a deal to where he paid a certain amount, like a flat rate.
Hmm.
So I don't know if is that true, but it seems like Chris Algieri has some good information on that.
I didn't hear Chris Algieri's. I also though I don't know the number, but I also heard there is a limit of the amount that they can, even though they go by 3% percentage. I think there is also a limit on the amount that you can pay them. There is a limit. I just forgot what the number is.
Mm,
Maybe I should look that up. Yeah,
gotta
I'll look
do it.
that up. I definitely look that up. I know like I've gone over the WBC rules and regulations maybe at least twice at some point throughout my time of just making content. And I read, you know, if you read it, if you go to the website and actually download the PDF of their rules and regulations, it's some pretty interesting things in there.
Mm,
If you were to do it, I think the last time I might have did it is when I was probably doing research on the franchise title situation and then comparing it to how things were prior. But I've gone through it a few times over certain specific topics, and I believe that there's a sort, there is a limit to the amount of what you should pay.
right.
Um, love seat legend says Boxing Boy said Wilder said the same thing, said he played a flat rate of 45K. The alleged limit is supposed to be 300K, which is 3% of 10 million. Now, if 300K is the limit, and I think somebody else left a comment somewhere, I don't know if it was under my video or if I saw it on social media. If 300K is the limit, why are you making it seem like the 6% um request is a favor? Because 6% is 300K of 50 million.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So why are you making it like 0.6% was something we lowered it to accommodate you because 3% would be too high. If you know, as the president of the WBC, why would you make it seem like you're doing a favor? If this is true,
right.
if this number is true, if the limit is 300K, you know.
Well, if Oscar come out making this video, you know what I mean, and then turns out he had little side deals that he was paying is like it's almost I don't know, it's like a contradiction, right? Like
No,
why you asking this man to pay, huh?
it's 100% a contradiction from Oscar.
And you
You
asking this
know,
man to pay all this money because
yeah.
he, undisputed, and then I don't know, man. Oscar
Well, Oscar.
boxing has been corrupt, man, for the
Well,
longest.
well, the thing is, Oscar is against what he's against the Turkey Al Sheikh and Dana White situation. You know, with the Zuffa title and all that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? He's anti that. He wants things as a promoter because you already built your relationships. These guys want things to remain the way it is because it benefits them most. So they're making it seem like the Muhammad Ali Act is, you know, see the way I look at it with this Muhammad Ali Act situation, I think it benefits others. Like I don't think anyone's completely right in that situation because as a boxing fan, right, I know that things need to be changed. It's not fair now. So when people saying that they're trying to get rid of the Muhammad Ali Act, right, and they complain about it, but I'm like, but look at what's happening now. You know what I mean? Like it's corrupt now between the boxers and the promoters and the sanctioning bodies and stuff like that. It's already corrupt. We are getting robberies day in and day out. The rankings are totally random. You can't justify how some of these guys get pushed in certain places. I just brought up Conor Ben. I brought up Ryan Garcia. We can't act like there's no corruption going on. So when it comes to TKO and Dana White and Turkey Al Sheikh and the Zuffa title, all the stuff that they doing over there, they're going into a different direction.
yeah.
I'm like, I'm sitting back in my chair, like, I just want to see how this plays out. I don't know if it's good for boxing. I don't know if it's bad, but I know the way boxing is going right now, or the way it's always been corrupt. So what are we talking about here? Like, I can't I can't defend the WBC. So I can't defend what any of these people doing. I can't defend the promoters when I know that they're crooked. You know what I mean? Like I can't
Right.
defend. You know, I just read an article this morning that Eddie Hearn is working with uh Gerald Miller in Matchroom to put on a fight. He's going to promote his next fight. So their relationship is good again. But it was bad when the whole AJ situation went down. And
Right.
it was bad after. Because when they had that big fight with Wilder and all these dudes on the card, Wilder, Joshua, all these guys on the card, there was a lot of words exchanged, but now they're working together. Back then, Eddie was like, I'm never working with this guy.
I'm through. Yeah, I'm through with you. Yeah.
At the end of the day, these guys want the bread, man. And I can't blame them. You want the money. Stop acting like you have integrity. You don't.
Yeah,
None of
my
them
thing
do.
on the Ali Act, I've always heard that it, benefits the actual fighters versus having more people with money in your pockets, more promoters and things like that. They got to be transparent. So I am for the Ali Act, and plus it's called the Ali Act, man. Ali is like my goat. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm,
So a shout out to that picture on the wall in the back. You know what I
mhm.
mean? But some things I just feel like if it's protecting the fighters, you know, I, I would like to see them pull this Zuffa thing off, and just keep the protection of the fighters to where they can't take advantage of them. You know what I'm saying? If they can do that, then I'm all for it. Damn all them other belts. Let's make one belt and just kind of clean up the corruption of the sport.
Yeah. I mean, the sport is going to be a sport, man. I think the corruption is part of the I think boxing is like a big ass reality TV show. Like it's I think part of the culture of the sport is the drama in and out
Yeah,
of the ring. Like if you look at it, we talk about it now because social media is a thing. content creators a thing. Like before, there was no content creators. All we had was journalists and the media, and you know, and just that the commentators, the networks and the promoters. We didn't have a voice, so things was just happening, and we just watched it in real time.
Yeah.
We had no say so. We didn't get interviews from boxers every day. We didn't get that. We didn't get their reaction to stuff on social media.
Yeah, we
If it
didn't see
wasn't,
them till the next time they fought.
yeah, if it wasn't in these boxing magazines, and I say this about hip hop all the time, like, yo, we wouldn't hear from an artist unless we got the Source magazine. Back in me, I don't where you from?
From Houston. Well, Beaumont, but it's right outside of Houston.
I don't, I don't know, how much of a hip hop head you are, but I remember going to the store and getting the Source magazine every month to get the new interview, like whoever's on the cover, if it's the Locks or Mason or whoever, whatever rapper that was hot back then, big. I would rush and get the cover so I could read the article. I might not hear anything from this artist until they come out
Yeah.
with another album.
Right. Right.
And the same goes with boxing. We will not hear a damn thing until they have another fight coming up. Whereas now I can go on my phone and see Shakur Stevenson going back and forth on social media with this other fighter. Like, you
Right.
know what I
Right.
mean? Like, that's how it works. Devin Haney going back and forth with Ryan again. Like, they can wake up and just start beefing with each other. So
Yeah.
that's what I mean by right now, us having a voice has an influence on how everybody's moving. And I think they're just taking advantage of it. They know that sometimes bad news is going to make things hot, especially
Yeah.
for a potential upcoming fight.
Yeah. Man, let me give my take on these fights tonight real quick.
Yeah.
And I gotta step out. But the what we were just talking about the Foster Fulton fight.
Hmm.
If I'm
You just went. You just went mute.
yeah, I got a phone call. If I'm Foster, I'm heated because y'all wouldn't do, I don't know, man. I just feel like since the promotion of the whole promotion, I think he's right, man. Have him on the B side, and he's already the 130 champion. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? It's just like, what are we doing here? So I'm all the way for Foster, even though I might be a little biased. Well, I am biased in that because we from the same place, and so I understand his frustration. So that fight, man, I hope he just goes out and I like Cool Boy too, man. That's what's crazy about it. But
Yeah, I do too.
he's a solid dude. You know what I mean? You could tell he ain't out here doing nothing crazy. So anyway, it's just the position that they put Foster in. I just hope he go in and handle business. Let me say it like that. Um, I feel sorry for Laura, man, because he was about to unify. You know what I mean? That fight is off the table. So he gonna do what he gonna do to that guy. He gonna basically knock him out.
Hmm.
Shane Mosley, listen, man. I don't have him winning this fight, man, but I want him to, man. I want him to jump out of the shadow
That was fun.
of, yeah, man, and become his own champion in his own right. But I just don't think this is that fight.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? I might be wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but you know what I mean? I'm rooting for the guy, but I just don't think I think Ramos is pretty good. Uh Bartholomew and no, not too many people talking about this one. The fact that that's the main event of the free card, right?
Yes.
Uh Martin, I like Martin, man. I don't know how I feel about that fight. I'm just gonna say that Martin's gonna win, but my boxing mind is telling me that Bartholomew is gonna give him some problems. You know what I'm
I
saying?
agree.
So
I agree. I think Martin is gonna have a potential controversial win. Let
You
me
think
say
so?
that. Yeah, I think he's gonna win, but I think morally, I don't know if we're gonna agree with that. I think
Yeah,
Bartholomew is a
awkward.
he no one really looks good against that guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Even when Russell stopped him, I thought it was they stopped. I think it was a poor stoppage, and I think Bartholomew won the first like 3 or 4 rounds. Like, I just I don't know.
yeah,
Bartholomew is such weird, but he is 39. I did fact check that before I went live. He is
yeah.
39.
Who Bartholomew? Yeah, he's
Yeah,
up there.
he's up there.
But
So
but sometimes that can play. I'm gonna get his one last good run. You know what I mean? I'm gonna
yeah,
give it my all, and
yeah,
Martin might be coming on that type of time. You know what I mean?
yeah. He hasn't fought. He's only been fighting once a year. I don't remember seeing his fight with Jose Ramirez. They did fight last year, like in April. So it's been a minute. But
Yeah,
Bartholomew did look good at the weigh-in. They both did, him and Frank Martin. They look good, you know.
yeah,
So
yeah,
these Cuban fighters are tricky, man. Just I tell people like just leave them alone if you don't have to deal with them.
yeah, yeah.
Or
But what's the other one? I guess the main event is the
main
only
event,
one
yeah,
left, right?
Pitbull. What you got for Pitbull and
Say,
Roach?
man. Man, I got mixed feelings about this one, man. When the fight was first announced, right? I said, "What is Roach thinking about? This dude is gonna get murdered in there." You know what I mean? And I was saying that because normally to look good against Pitbull, you got to be a real slick mover. You know what I mean? I don't
Mhm.
see Roach as being that slick mover. I see him being more stationary,
Yeah.
but he can box well in the pocket. So
Mhm.
I was like, this dude is gonna get killed in there. You know what I mean? Because this dude, like, he throw wild punches. Pitbull, I'm saying, he throw wild punches, and he's not gonna stop coming. You know what I mean? He's gonna catch you with a few of these wild punches if you in the pocket.
Mhm.
And then all until like this week, I said, you know what? I don't know if it's the way Roach is talking, you know what I mean? But he's saying all the right things, like the fact that he said, I can fight multiple styles, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And he can only fight one. So if he realizes that as a fighter, then he knows what he's going into. So I kind of switched my pick a little bit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, and I'm gonna go with Roach, man. I'm gonna go with Roach, and I
Yeah.
think it's gonna be an ugly fight, but I think he gonna pull it off.
Yeah, I got Roach. I got Roach, but I'll tell you one thing, man. If Pitbull wins it, I won't be surprised because you could feel as confident as you do. But Pitbull got one of those styles where like, as soon as you feel this guy hit you, or as soon as that one punch, that you don't see coming catches you, because this guy's so like it's probably really hard and difficult to prepare and spar with someone that fights like that guy.
Right,
So I
right.
think that like whatever sparring he got, I'm sure you can't fully get like there's certain fighters you can't fully get the real experience prior to the fight. Like you got to go in there and learn on real time. And I think Pitbull is
Yeah,
one of those styles. I think there's a few people that like that, but I think Pitbull is definitely one of those dudes that you got to learn, on straight time. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
So
well, let me ask you this: have you seen Roach be like a real defensive juggernaut in there, like to where he is like, man, it's hard to hit him? I haven't seen it, me personally.
no, I don't think he's a defensive juggernaut, but I think he turns and rolls punches well. I think he does roll like the punches, like for a guy that's been more, I said this in a breakdown, for a guy that's been more aggressive in his most recent fights, even before fighting Tank. Um, I do see him coming forward more, being more aggressive, and while doing that, He's been a little bit more like rolling the punches, turning with the punches better. You know what I mean? So he's not getting the full impact. And then when he was getting hit by Tank, it made me feel like, all right, yo, he's at least durable. At least I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
So
Hey man, again before I head out, salute
yeah.
to the channel, man. Stay out of the drama, man, and stay objective, man.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate you.
All
Have
right.
a good day.
All right.
All right, later. Oops. Yo, Chris, what's up, man?
Wait, what up, man? How are you, brother?
I'm good, man. Waiting for this fight. Just waiting for this fight later, man.
That's what's up, man. I'm not gonna be on here too long, man. It's funny. I seen you on live. I jumped right on. I'm like, man, I've been itching to jump on here and talk to you, bro. What's going on? Anything good?
Everything is good. You know, like I was saying earlier, like I had a lot of time to spare before the fight, so I was just like, let me jump on here and just let everybody join up.
I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah, I want to definitely do this more. Like I did one last week, and I want to just I like when people come on here because everybody's always chill. You know, every once in a while you get a crazy person, but
I think you got the best audience because I be communicating with the people in the chat. Sometimes they don't like me, sometimes they do, but you got the best audience, bro. There's no drama, there's no racist shit going on in the background. Like you got the perfect community, bro. It's like all the fly niggas just come to this channel, so that's what I love about it. But
I agree.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, what was there a topic already, or y'all were just talking about the fight?
So I'm just talking about, like, you know, I talked about a few things today. The topics was really we started talking about Ja Opata and a knockout this morning. We talked about cruiserweight and all that, and then we talked about Crawford and the WBC, and then we rolled right into the WBC with the Fulton situation. I don't know if you know that Fulton came in overweight.
Yep, I seen that.
And
crazy.
Now his title, he has a title, WBC interim title opportunity at 135 in a new weight that he's in since he went over this weight.
He got an opportunity at the weight class above.
No one knows, man. It's this is kind of
boxing is so weird, bro. This is the craziest sport. I'm not even sure how I found myself obsessed with the sport, but it's so bizarre. But the reason why I ask is because, like, what I wanted to talk about is not really relevant to your previous conversations, if you don't mind. So, and like I said, I won't be long, bro. I'm not gonna be too long-winded, but I've been wanting to like get your attention on this, but it has something to do, which I think is important. It's a profound thing to discuss if you're a boxing fan and you want to elevate the sport, is our pound for pound list, right? I'd like to have that be something profoundly separate when it comes to like representing the sport. Now, the reason I wanted to talk about that, because I already know, but I'm a big fan of yours, like straight up. Like I've seen every video I watched, plenty of videos I watched that's funny as hell. I watched it multiple times. So I know who your pound for pound is, and I doubt that's going to change, especially with his recent victory. But I wanted to say, not even ask, but I wanted to say why the person I think is pound for pound should be pound for pound, and in order. I know it's a subjective thing, and you can like have your, and by the way, your audience is not gonna like this, bro. I said some shit on here before, and they was drilling me in the comments, but I personally think Alexander Usyk is and should be pound for pound number one, hands down.
I'm not gonna, I'm not even gonna debate that. I'm not debating that. Usyk is. I'm not gonna debate that. You're never gonna get me to debate that. When I say Crawford is my number one, it's because I think he's the best fighter, as far as I think he's the most talented fighter in the sport right now. That's my opinion on him. I don't base it. So yes, the win with Canelo, the win with Spence and all that, that's good. But I'm not gonna. It's a for me. I say Crawford as preference, but I always look at it as a 1A and a 1B.
Right.
For me.
Right.
I love Usyk, bro. I'm not arguing. When you say that, I'm like, I'm cool. I was watching him. Shout out to
Adipo, yeah.
I was
whatever his last name
with what's the other channel he has?
White dude, right? G-Man or something like that. G-Man.
Shout out to both.
I see the same shit. I see the same
They
stuff.
both have Usyk at number one, and I figured they were gonna have Usyk at number 1.
Right,
There's
right.
no way I can debate that, bro.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know how they are over there in the UK, you know what I mean? If you're from like Eastern Europe.
Yeah, but
So that's
Usyk
the
is
thing though.
fire,
So
bro. Like I
yeah,
can't
yeah.
get
So
mad at that.
right. So the thing is, right, bro, I would want Bud to be, bro, it's just normal. It's a normal human thing to want the person who more represents and is relatable to you to
Yeah.
be like this. And but for me, bro, like I don't know. I view boxing more than just a sport. I think it has elements to like introduce profound disciplinary I don't know, etiquette to like to young male minds. Maybe all male and female, but male minds in general. So that's why I'd like it to have like these standards that it's set by. I would like Bud to be number 1 because he's from where we from. You know what I mean? Usyk he's not from here. In a way, he's not from here. But at the end of the day, if we're using like the criteria that I created, I'm not gonna waste my breath. And you know what I mean? I don't want to take up too much time. People can jump on, but there's a merit there, and him being cruiserweight, heavyweight champion of the world, undisputed, knocking out the number 1 guy just now. I just don't know how you can have anybody else above that. Now, mind you, those 3 guys, in the way Usyk and Bud, bro, that's it. It's like you put them here and then everybody else is back there. You know what I'm saying? Them guys
That's
isn't
I agree
in a car of their own.
100%.
Everybody else, and there's some good guys back there, but
Yeah.
they don't even belong in the passenger seat of the you know what I mean, those.
Yeah, once you get past those 3, I don't know if he disappeared. But once you get past those 3, it becomes it's a debate. Like I'll debate anybody past those 3. Because in New Way, you're gonna always hear I don't know if he's still on here. But if he comes back, I'll add him. When it comes to a New Way, you're gonna hear people saying like, "Yo, he just fought 4 times this year." You know what I mean? He's fighting 4 times this year. Like, you know what I mean? And he's fighting the best of his division. So I can't, if you got him up there because you like his style, he's giving us action-packed fights. He's active. You know what I mean? He's 4 divisions, 2 division undisputed. I'm not gonna argue with you, bro. Same thing with Usyk. You know?
Happened. I don't have
Yeah,
any.
you disappeared before. So I don't know what happened.
Yeah,
But
my
yeah,
fault
no,
about that.
but basically all I'm saying is like when it comes to those 3, I'm willing to debate outside of those 3 on why one, like if you got a New Way at number 1, bro, the guy fought 4 times this year. Like
4 times, bro. I was gonna say that. I got him as number 3 because you can't really deny what, bro. Bud is. I mean, he's that guy. I don't see anybody in any point in history besides Leonard that gives him
yeah,
trouble. So I mean, that's a different type person. But I wouldn't, like you said, bro. I would have little complaint or very little like rebuttal for a person that's putting in the way number 2, even if number 1, bro. Activity means a lot. You're putting yourself in danger. I mean, obviously it depends who you fight. In a way, can't fight for Jin Young Kuz or whatever that nigga name was, the first dude he fought. You can't fight 4 of them and be regarded, you know what I'm saying? But him fighting
but he
stellar
mixes up.
opposition,
Yeah, he mixes a tough fight in there
he go
with
up and down, which you should
he,
be doing. I think you just
yeah.
said this the other day too. You just said you can't have. I'm not sure where you said it at, but you can't have a tough fight each and every time. That's ludicrous. That's dumb. You know what I'm saying?
But if
You
you
don't go to
fighting once
work
a
and do.
year, if you fighting
Yeah,
once a year, I don't want no
exactly.
tune-up, bro. You gotta give me a good fight.
Yeah,
You gotta give me a good fight.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? If you're
yeah,
fighting twice a year, one medium guy versus one top guy. Don't
yeah, yeah,
but don't give me no straight like just random journeyman
yeah,
type shit. If you
yeah,
fighting 4
yeah.
times, bro, you can mix it all. You can be a top
Exactly.
tier guy, a
Especially if you're
medium
pound for
guy.
pound.
Yeah,
Especially if you're
yeah,
pound for pound. You know what
yeah.
I'm
Like,
saying? We got
yeah,
to hold these dudes to the same standards. Like if you're pound for pound, that's why I said in your comments the other day, like, bro, Usyk is my number 1 pound for pound. And even though like I get Wilder's a crazy big name still, bro. I know dudes that don't even watch boxing who know about Wilder. But I
right.
don't want that fight, bro. You're pound for pound. I doesn't get higher than you.
Yeah, but
Undisputed champion. I don't want that, bro. Straight up. And if
I
he
don't want
do,
it either. I don't want it
it,
either. But if he, But I also feel like if that's what he wants to do, then
Yeah, then he got to. Well, listen. I don't want to say what he should do. I mean, that's a grown
Yeah.
man. He's doing his thing,
he
but
definitely
I'm just
earned. I want my own fight. Like, all right, for example, what me and you were saying, I agree. I don't really want to see that now. But you know how many years people have been saying Canelo could fight and do what he wants to do?
which is crazy.
People have been saying that for years,
That's
even though there
crazy.
was people like, Benavidez and other fighters that people wanted, like, they were very direct, like, you should be
Yeah.
fighting this guy. For years, people was like, no, Canelo could do what he want to do. So when he
Yeah.
fought Balanga, who was inexperienced, when he fought Munguia, and we didn't really we knew Munguia wasn't gonna have nothing for him. You know what I mean? People were saying, giving him a pass, like,
Yeah.
Canelo could do what he wants to do. He's already solidified his legacy. I think Usyk deserves to pick a fighter he wants to fight. And I brought up Floyd
you be okay
Mayweather.
with it?
I'm not gonna complain. I brought up Floyd Mayweather in Andre Berto situation. He said, I fought Manny Pacquiao. I want to fight Andre Berto or Kareem Mayfield. I'm gonna fight a easier fight for my next fight before he retired.
I got you.
So I think that, yeah, I mean, I don't want to see a bunch of that, but if Usyk says, I want to fight Deontay Wilder, and in my opinion, I think he just wants to fight because I think he wants every name from that generation on his record.
Yeah, and I understand that.
Title
Yeah.
holders. And I said that because he said specifically, I wanted to fight Joseph Parker, but he lost. So Joseph Parker is it's only few recent champions: Fury, Joshua,
AJ, yeah,
Parker, and Wilder. Those
what
were the
about
four
Ruiz?
champions.
What about Ruiz? Ruiz never got stopped before.
The difference between Andy Ruiz is that Andy Ruiz never defended it and kept, you know what I mean? He won off a huge underdog thing. And then
upset,
lost in the very next fight and fell off after that. You know what I'm saying? So I think Ruiz, like Joseph Parker, defended it a few times. Wilder defended it over 10 times. Tyson Fury beat Klitschko. Like Joshua became unified. Those guys did it way better than Ruiz. Ruiz got it for a second and lost it right away in the same year.
I got you.
So
now, can I say this? Yeah, I understand. And bro, this is what I'm saying. This is why I'm in love with this channel, bro. It's like you don't have no bias to like your criticisms of anybody. Like, I don't want to dick ride no Diddy, but I respect what you're saying. But this is my point in that. Bro, for me, he leads the pack. He's in front of him in a way, and Bud, they lead the pack. I don't know, man. These guys should have boundaries where they aren't allowed to take super easy fights. And I get what you're saying, 100%. But then what does that segue into after? I mean, does everybody do this shit where they, you know what I mean? Forgive my language, brother. Does everybody else do this where they take in ridiculous? Bro, where's Wilder ranked at? 40? Where's Wilder at? He not in the top 20. After he beat Wilder, then does he want Ruiz after that? You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm thinking about.
I don't know, but all I know is that I also don't think that like, I honestly believe that like he should be fighting. I think the guys that he hasn't fought yet need, like, I think Kabayel and Wardley need to fight each other right now because they're the number 2 and 3. They should be fighting each other right now.
Yeah, they should. I'm surprised that's not happening actually, but
like, for real, like, you were talking about rankings before, and they was just about to make Moses Atama, and a lot of people want to see that fight. And Moses Atama ain't. I mean, he's ranked now in the sanctioned body, but he ain't beat nobody. I mean, Dillian White he beat, but like, Dillian White's really past it. You know what I'm saying? He got removed again. He went dark again. Dillian White, I mean, that was supposed to be a test, but ended up being a slaughter. And Dillian White looked awful in there that night. But yeah, I just think that the guy wants to fight Wilder. I don't want to see it, but the guy can fight who he wants to fight. Like, it is what it is. There's only a few fighters that can come out and call somebody out and say, like, yo, I want to fight this person next for whatever reason. And I think he deserves that right. You know, I think he deserves it, you know. And it's not like Wilder is some bum. He is a former champion. You know, I mean, he is still the biggest name heavyweight fighter in America. And it's still a good name to have under your resume, you know. Is he top tier right now? Nah, he's not. You know, I'll be lying if I told you that. He's absolutely not. But at the end of the day, he's still the most famous active American boxer right now, and the most recent champion too. So it is what it is, you know. And to be honest with you, ever since I made a video on that, you know, you got people that be in my DMs or that be in the comments talking about some. Watch Usyk mess around and get knocked out by Wilder. There's a lot of people that still think Wilder can end it in one punch. A lot of people still think that, you know. I mean, we see a lot of cherry picks going wrong all year round. So this could be one of those situations, you know. Wilder's definitely past it, but he still got power, like, you know what I mean? And you never know. But do I really want to see it? I don't. But if the guy wants to take a fight, that's my stance. If he wants to take it, he wants to take it. But Caballero, yes, Caballero and Worley need to be fighting. And that winner should definitely get a title shot with Usyk. Definitely, without a doubt. That winner. I mean, either one of them could fight Usyk right now. But in my opinion, I think those two are the two best. And you can't deny their resumes and their recent wins. Their recent wins are above anything that anybody else in the division has done lately. Those two specifically. And that's it. It's those two and it's everybody else. I think for me, and I made this in a video that I did about heavyweights not too long ago, I think Moses Atama is the wild card, meaning that no, he's not nearly as proven. He does not have the resume, he does not have the experience, but he looks like he's that good that he could skip the line. He looks like he's that good. I mean, look, if we being honest, Worley didn't have all the experience neither, and he's beating all these guys. All the fighters he's fought has way more experience than him as an amateur and pro, and he's beating them all up, and he's stopping them. So I think Moses, to me, like if you ask me, I think the winner of Fabio Worley and Ajay Caballero should fight Usyk. But if you ask me like a personal, like a wild card to throw in there, I'll throw Moses in there. That's just me. That's just my opinion. I'm not saying I'm right, I'm wrong. That's just my opinion. And that's it. You know? Because I think he looks like I said this in a video about Moses probably a few months back. And I said, yo, I think Moses looked better than any recent heavyweight prospect. Any fighter as a prospect. And I'm including AJ. I'm including Dillian White. I'm including Parker. Because I watched all those guys as prospects, right? When they had 5 or less pro fights. I think Moses looked better than all of them when they were prospects. I'm not saying he's better than them overall, but I think he looks better than where they were at this time in their careers with this amount of fight. That's just me. I watched Joshua all the way through. I watched Dillian White all the way through. I watched Joseph Parker all the way through. I watched Andy Ruiz. I watched a lot of these guys that are like the guys on their way out. Wilder, like I wasn't watching Wilder when he had like low fights, but we know when I think when Wilder was around like 20 professional fights and something like that, like I started seeing his videos on YouTube like back in like probably like 2011. I probably saw Wilder for the first time online like 2011, 2012, something like that. And then I got hooked and started watching all his fights. But I think Moses looked better than all of these dudes when they were younger, in my opinion. What's up, Aquia? Said, I love Moses. To get any top guys that fight looks most interested. Moses would be the most interesting fight. Yeah. Myoa says, Worley and Caballero needs to be made next year. Absolutely. Caballero got a fight coming up. Yeah, like Moses, with the size he has, he fights like he's like a lower weight guy. Like you would think, like watching him, not knowing he's a heavyweight, he looks like he moves like a guy that's much. You know how I be saying about Jai Okatai? Like I don't know if he could move and be that explosive as a heavyweight. You know what I mean? Like Moses is big. He's a big dude, but he moves so much quicker than the rest of these heavyweights. You know? I don't know, man. Like I think he could be the one, but there's definitely things that I would like to see, you know? Because a lot of guys look good until they get tested for real, you know? CPA, all right, yeah, no, thank you for coming by, bro. Appreciate you coming by, and you know, always welcome to come back. Shout out to John that was here earlier as well. Mayoa, shout out to you. You was here on a live a few days ago. All right. But listen, I'm going to get on out of here, guys. Listen, I'm going to be here at 6 p.m. Eastern time. I might jump on a little earlier, depending on what these prelim fights. I think the prelim fights, they said that started at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. I mainly want to just see the Frank Martin, Ramses Barthélemy fight. But I will be here definitely no later than 6 p.m. Eastern. That's a couple of hours before the actual pay-per-view of the PBC card tonight. All right, so mainly gonna definitely cover those last 4 fights, but I'll be here later on this afternoon. Thank you guys. Please, everybody that's here, smash the like button right now. Stop what you're doing, smash the like button. If you are new, subscribe to the channel. All right, and I will be here in a few. I'll be back in a few hours, so check for me, and I'll see you guys soon. All right, y'all have a good day. Peace.